So this woman is doing the typical young person. I'm going to move to Bali, which is just, I'm sorry, I'm not trying to be mean to this young woman. She's been victimized. It's a really sad story. I'm going to play her video for you. But this idea of like, you can just get on a plane and fly to Bali and just do these things. It's really remarkable when you think about how far we've come as a species. You know, back in the day, hundreds of years ago, people in Europe were like, life here is bad and I want to go somewhere else. Anywhere is better than this. And then someone's like, how would you like to go on a boat where you have a 20% chance of death? You'll be sailing for 3 months. And if we finally make it to land, there will be literally nothing there. And you'll have to start building from scratch. And after that, many of you will starve to death. Winter will come and oh boy. And they were like, that sounds awesome. And they went for it. Today, it's like this young woman's like, I'm moving to Bali, so I got a plane ticket. But then like someone stole my bag. And it's just like, that shouldn't have happened to you. You know, I'm not ragging on her for being the victim. I'm just saying it's like, it's really a testament to where we are. The problem we face is, I was trying to travel halfway across the world in a couple of days to live in an island paradise. I'm half kidding, but it's like, then I got robbed and now I can't. It's really funny. But let me play the video for you where she breaks this all down. Yo, this is San Francisco. This is what you get. Oh, I got to fix the audio. I always do that with the audio, guys. I know.
And all I have with me is what I have on and this hat and that like tiny purse with actually nothing in it. My computer, my iPad, my AirPods, my Bose over-the-ear headphones, all of my clothes, my prescriptions, my retainer, my passport, legitimately everything I own was taken. So I got here to San Francisco 2 days ago. I got a rental car, had a long layover before I'm moving on. I was moving to Bali. I had all my stuff, everything to move there with me. Got a rental car, was driving around, parked. This morning at In-N-Out, I was kind of hungover, went out with my friends last night. Parked to get a burger and fries and went in. I was in there for 4 minutes just getting takeout, like grabbing something and going. I'm up at the counter, literally ordering, and someone goes, who has the Jeep outside? I'm like, I do. And they're like, someone's stealing all your stuff. I run out there and this is what I see. 4 masked guys with ski masks on, grabbed all of my stuff out of the car, smashed the windows, obliterated this rental car that I had, and took all of my stuff. And now because I don't have my passport, I obviously can't leave the country and fly to Bali. And I'm like, what the heck? So now I'm just flying back to Boston. So I did a police report, the whole thing, and now the police officer said that they found one of my suitcases on the side of the highway with clothes like strewn all about around it. So stay tuned. My clothes are just like flying around on the highway right now.
So that passport, that's a lot of money. Those passports. An American passport can go big. Look, man, I don't think this lady knows at all what's happening around the country. I was just telling this story earlier in the week because I like to play poker. If you don't know, have a lot of fun playing Texas Hold'em. But it's mostly just hanging out with the boys and having conversation and stuff like that. And there was one dude there. I was talking to him. And he asked me how things are going with the business. And I just mentioned, like, politically, things are getting crazy. And he was like, oh, I don't pay attention at all to any of that stuff. And I'm just like, one day, so you're like, this is the crazy thing. Yo, this should not have happened to this woman, okay? Anybody who's paying attention to what's going on in this country knows that San Francisco is this. You park your car, they're waiting, they smash your windows out, and they're gone in 30 seconds. Everyone knows. But if you're not paying attention to the news, if you're being drowned by Democrat or corporate media propaganda, you don't know this is happening. And I don't know why they don't tell you, but these smash and grabs keep happening and they're getting crazier and crazier and crazier. You had a CNN crew get robbed. And so what are you going to do? Don't leave your stuff in your car. It's gotten that bad. Now, where I'm at out in West Virginia, we don't have to worry about that. I've never had an issue parking my car anywhere out here and having to worry about anyone smashing anything. And it's actually quite crazy, too, because I was up in Maine as well. And recently so that was a couple weeks ago, and I went to the Outer Banks for Labor Day. And it's really amazing what these areas are like when there's low crime. People, and you know what it is mostly rich people. And I think it's because, why steal a bike when you're worth $1 million? But I go to some of these areas, doors are left wide open. Cars are unlocked. Bikes are just laying up against the wall. And I'm like, nobody will take it. But then you look at San Francisco and things get interesting. despite all of their wealth. I think it's opportunity. It's you have this area where you have a lot of rich people and a lot of poor people versus the suburban areas or other places with a lot of rich people. If you go to somewhere like the Outer Banks in North Carolina, mostly tourists and the people working the industry. So there's not a whole lot to worry about in terms of getting robbed, to be honest. But you live in San Francisco, you got a ton of rich people and a ton of poor people, and that's your recipe for disaster. Add on top affluent white female liberals and their voting patterns. Sorry, I mean, it is predominantly affluent white female liberals who are voting in this direction, but there are about 45% of males who vote in this direction as well. And you end up with policies that will get you robbed. I hope this young woman hears this. I'm not saying here's me. I'm saying here's the news and here's the reasoning behind it. And so we stop with this stuff. Okay. Oh, here you go. NYPD to cut overtime as Big Apple feels budget pinch of migrant crisis. Yeah. More defund the police. More chaos. More crime. More victims. And then it's going to be you. I don't know what you do. I know that the people who watch my videos, 80% dudes. Isn't that crazy? Well, I was talking to Fresh and Fit, if you guys know them, and they were saying that women don't have hobbies. And I'm just like, maybe the women you hang out with, bro. That's the funny thing about Fresh and Fit. And they were like, no, these are like regular women. I'm like, I think it's like the women you're picking. But to be fair, I think generally speaking, there's probably something to what they're saying. And the reason for that is I've tracked data for a lot of different industries throughout my day for a variety of reasons. And you tend to find female participation is usually very, very low. And so when they say women don't have hobbies, they mean the plurality or majority of women don't have hobbies. Or you're more likely to run into a woman who doesn't have a hobby than you are one who does. And it's like, okay, that makes sense. So what he's basically saying is, what they were saying was that they will bring women on the show and they'll be like, so what do you do for fun? They'll be like, go out. And they'll be like, what do you mean go out? And they're like, I go out with my friends. It's like, but to do what? Like, what are you doing? And they're just like, well, I don't know. We like go to a bar or something. Oh. See, guys will be like, I ride my bikes. I drive race cars. Like they have hobbies. But this makes sense. Like hobbies are a dude thing. You go to the poker room. You'll find like, dude, 80% guys. For real. You go on YouTube, 80% guys. Matters of external interest, it would seem, are probably like object-oriented things. Women do these things too. I'm not saying they don't. I'm just saying it's a tendency among men. So how do we get women who vote in large numbers to be active participants? And this is the big issue that I see across the board. I certainly think women should vote. Sorry, I'm not one of those repeal the 19th people. But I think the issue is, if women are not watching the news, then what are they voting on? They're voting on what their friends tell them. That's something that the Republicans need to understand. But I look at the Republican Party as the rigid, it really does come down to like gender. Republicans have more men. Democrats have more women. It's crazy. You look at, there was an article in The Hill. 12th grade boys are skewing conservative. 12th grade girls are skewing liberal. And it's interesting. It's the way in which we communicate. There's a meme that whenever a dude takes a picture of something, it's the object, but a woman will be standing next to it or in front of it. That's really interesting that they do that. Women probably totally understand why they do it, and men totally don't understand at all. It's like, don't you want to see these sunglasses? Why are you it's a picture of the sunglasses or a picture of you holding them? Because dudes are object oriented and they're focused on externalities, and women are subject oriented and they're focused on internalities. So anyway, as for the crime and what this woman experienced, I think it's a product of women are less likely than men to be active participants in politics and news and culture. They of course are. I'm not saying they aren't, but it could be like 51 to 49. And thus you end up with voting patterns among females that make things worse. Or I shouldn't say that their policies are all wrong. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying if you're voting on a policy with incomplete information, it may have an unintended consequence. So like AOC's support of cashless bail, I agree with, while recognizing the problems that will arise with it. But there are a lot of people who just agree with some of these policies that result in more crime, defunding the police, without looking at the underlying problems. Yo, the problem with cops wasn't they had too much money. It's that they don't have enough money. Cops need to get paid more. There needs to be a real risk to screwing up. Cops need to have their own skin in the game when it comes to doing things that are wrong. I completely think so. But we need more money for training, more police divisions. That way, we don't. Some countries have like civil guard and police, and the civil guard come out for like two guys are yelling at each other. They don't come with guns. You don't need that. They'll help traffic control and stuff like this. We just have cops for all of it. Cops are all armed. So I think police need more money. But police also need heavy reform and more accountability. I'm not an anarchist. I'm not a libertarian. I'm not a hardcore libertarian about, abolishing all police. My attitude is I think it's good to have neutral arbiters. I don't think we have that now. I think it can be fixed. That being said, if young women keep voting Democrat, it's what you get. Now, to be fair, for all I know, this lady, she's from Boston, probably a Democrat, maybe a Republican. I don't know. Anyway, I'll leave it there. Next segment's coming up at 1 p.m. on this channel. Thanks for hanging out, and I'll see you all then.